AITA for not giving my relatives any of my inheritance. So I'm 17F, with my brother, 21M, and parents, 56M, 47F. We live in a city and visit my grandma, 75F, every year. She lives with my uncle, 55M, and cousin, 16M. My aunt died 5 years ago. So, for context, I live on a hill straight from a road, and down from the road lives an old lady alone. Whenever I go to my hometown, I always spend most of my time at her house. Her only son died in mid-age. She doesn't have anyone else, so I'm the only one who visits her. I spent most of my time at her house because my uncle had tried to, me before. I've told my parents, and they help me the most they can, but there's really nothing much they can do, so I don't blame them. But anyway, because of that, I prefer to stay at this lady's house more than ours. And this year, when I went back, the lady had passed away. I cried very, very much. I went to her house that day, and there were police there. One of them saw me and asked my purpose for the visit. I told them my relationship with her in short. They told me to sit there and called someone after an hour or so. A lawyer came. He told me that she had chosen me to inherit all her wealth and properties. I told them to wait and called my parents. They talked, and it's decided that my parents will be the legal guardians of everything till I turn 18. But unfortunately, my cousin was with me and heard everything and told his father about it. Later that day, I was in my room processing everything and heard yelling from downstairs. I went and saw my dad and my uncle were arguing. My mom noticed me and told them to stop. Later at night, I asked my older brother what it was all about because he was downstairs with them. He told me that my uncle was asking my dad to split the inheritance in two and give half to my cousin. My dad is a very calm person and tried to explain calmly that he wouldn't do that because it's my money, I should decide what happens to it, and that even if he did, it would be split between me and my actual biological brother, not my cousin. My uncle got annoyed because he wasn't getting what he wanted this time. He then started to curse us. This was the last straw. That's when my dad got angry at him. Now my grandma jumped in between and pleaded with my dad to forgive his little brother, my uncle. My uncle had sold a house owned by both my dad and him together and taken most of it. Probably gave only 10 to 20% to my dad. And my grandma didn't say anything and let my uncle do whatever he wanted. It has happened a few other times too. The next day, my uncle and cousin were taunting me every second. My grandma tried to tell my cousin to stop, but he yelled at her, and she gave up. I finally yelled at him, saying he was younger than me and should respect me. I got angry at him. My parents had heard me yelling and came to my defense. We left that very day and stayed at a hotel because we still had to sort out the wills matter. That day before we left, my grandma told me about the event the day before, thinking I didn't know anything. She didn't mention my uncle cursing us all and tried to make it look like it was my dad who overreacted. I told her I knew everything and she was shocked and didn't say anything after that. We've already come back to the city. We were told that the properties would be guarded to make sure my uncle didn't try anything funny. I know that they're the A****holes, but I need some third-party opinions to calm